No.
No.
Yes.
I see a green cord plugged into it.
I mean, are we recording already?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to go. Hold on a minute. Let me zoom to the
Wait,
top.
wait. I love that Jeff is questioning our preparedness.
Right? He's like, let me just a second. Go.
Everyone ready? Welcome
Yes,
to
go.
Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of Lemma Champ or Lucky Track dog you run, SCC or NASA, we won't discriminate. As long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes from the world of low-dollar racing, and whether it's on the spot hella sweet, or we're lucky enough, and Jeff gives you a rant, we're sure you're going to giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental. And thanks for coming back and listening to another Pause for Freedom. Really, I've been here for like 30 minutes, and now's when these guys are doing this.
They know.
I only do this once a month. All right, anyway, thanks for coming back and listening to another 1984 episode of our podcast. It's episode 101. Yes, that's nerd humor, and if you get that joke, your nerd is very strong. If you're not driving a car, don't forget your E1R bingo card. Take a screen capture and send us some bingo.
I have to say, the bingo cards have been flying into our social media. I guess we finally insulted everyone enough that they are trying to prove that they're actually playing bingo.
True.
They can still listen and make fun, but they don't have to play bingo. But we like it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, let's start the way we always do. Chris,
hey,
what you working on?
The Civic, duh. Like, it's between races. There's always something to fix. This time I've been working on fixing the splitter, Jeff, and the air dam. Got that all rebuilt now, including some...
You're welcome.
Yeah, including some nice washers supporting the rivets on the backside, so it's going to be much stronger than before. And
how did you install those rivets?
I'm getting there. I'm quite enjoying a lovely Christmas gift I got. It is a pneumatic rivet gun. So instead of the squeeze it with your hand until your hand hurts 5 times, it's pull the trigger once, pull the trigger twice, pop. You get a tight, strong rivet, and then it has a little cup that it holds the little nails in. It's lovely.
What social media did I see that demo on?
It was actually only our
Slack,
text line.
I think.
That's what it
was.
was.
The text line. No, I didn't send it on the Slack, but I can.
But so yes, I'm quite enjoying that with all the rivets I've been riveting lately, and yeah.
This
Yes,
is
honey.
totally a grandma baseball mitt gift
Yeah.
or bowling ball or whatever you
baseball mitt gift? I'm not sure I'm aware of that.
Oh, maybe that's a family thing. You know, when you get grandma a baseball mitt or a bowling ball or something.
When you buy a present for someone you love, but you actually want the present more than they do.
Absolutely
Yes.
truth. Yes, that's
We
where
call
this
that
Homer-
the Wakeman tradition.
Oh, okay. Well, this was
It's
a Wakeman tradition.
The Homer bowling ball.
The Homer bowling ball, all of these things. This rivet gun was actually for me. But I'm glad that you used it, and I'm glad you liked it.
It works great. I think Jeff can appreciate the rivet gun too. You've also riveted until your hands hurt before.
Yes.
So.
I would like to mention that frequently at around November 12th, I'll get an email from Chrissy that says, "Help. I need advice on what to get Chris for Christmas." And she'll have the idea.
I will. That's true.
But then I will have to nerd out and do all of the research to figure out which brand, which make, which model.
And give me all the pros and cons.
Pros and cons. And
It's
then you
been
make
quite
the decision.
effective, guys, actually.
Truth.
So thank you for both for that.
Truth.
So anyway, that thing's working great.
I usually do that.
I'm now working on rebuilding the air ducting into the radiator that previously I had made somewhat out of the plastic sheet roll that I made the air dam out of, and also somewhat out of the rigid foam insulation, just to see if it worked. And it worked so well that it's blowing itself apart because all the air that's flowing in there because the tape just isn't holding it. So I'm recreating it now with more of the plastic roll sheeting stuff and rivets and bits of aluminum and things. So it's taking a while, and it's finicky and detailed, but it's going to be quite effective, I think. Just make sure nobody crashes it, and it'll be fine. Finished all the suspension work and the alignment, got that all set. Added a second muffler right down the center tunnel of the car, 'cause that's the only place left to put it in the car, and we definitely needed another muffler.
It was loud.
Well, apparently we were a little loud on the sound readings at Thompson, so
Can I interrupt real quick and just say the next thing you're about to say, I am very interested in finding out more. I read ahead on the notes, and all of a sudden I went, oh?
You won't be.
Go ahead. What's next?
This is not good. I bought another trailer this week from
yeah?
south of Baltimore, actually.
They're not Miatas. You don't have to collect them all.
What does our yard say when you
I have Crazy Chris's Trailer Emporium in the yard right now, basically.
What'd you buy and what happened?
I bought a new boat trailer because the trailer for the boat was what we bought in 1991, and it's lived within 100 yards of the ocean its entire life. And
it is now entirely dust and rubber. That's it. Just 2 pairs of tires and a pair of brown dust.
Almost. The rear cross member's basically gone. The bunks fell off. This last winter, I definitely did a Sasha repair to it, pulling the boat out last fall with a 2x4 and ratchet straps to support the rear cross member that, holds up the part of the boat where the engine is and stuff. So it survived the winter, but I knew that was it. And by looking at all the parts to fix what needed to be fixed after, close to 30 years, it was going to be a very substantial amount of the price of a new trailer. So that's
and a lot of work.
Yeah.
What is the old trailer made out of? Is this like a galvanized?
Yeah, it's galvanized
steel kind of
galvanized, like 2x4 galvanized.
C-channel.
Kind of thing. No, it's boxed, but
boxed.
Yeah, it was a fine trailer, but it lives a harsh life, and
the hubs are all rust.
Well,
so
I've never taken the wheels off, and at this point, I'm never ever going to. So I'm gonna have to just
cut it all
throw the
off
wheels and hubs and everything away. All the U-bolts on the axles, like the nuts, are no longer nuts. It's just like a slightly thicker spot on the U-bolt.
Exactly.
So,
Mental, if you're not sure what this kind of rust looks like, just go look at the trailer I sold you. That's pretty much what it looks like.
Except imagine it had been in the ocean a bunch of times.
Right. Yeah.
And we still washed it, but it's still, because it sits on the side of the house unprotected at the water sprays at it.
Yes, but the water's right there. So anyway, new boat trailer. That's all.
Awesome.
Not very exciting,
Chrissy,
Jeff. Sorry.
What you working on?
It's
That
not
was exciting enough, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, exciting. And it's even funnier because there's no boat on it, and people around here don't know that we have a boat because we never bring the boat, because we had a janky trailer, never bring the boat here. So just we have like the Emperor's new boat hanging out on our what'd you get a boat trailer for?
That's what them knew they're stealth ski boats.
Right? They don't see it. Okay, anyway. So I was outside of Pittsburgh for work last week, and of course, of all times, I had to drive home in the rain. I knew how bad, we talked about last week, my tires go ooh, 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 like a fish, and I was basically driving on Hoosiers, and so now it was slippery driving home in the rain.
I'm sorry, didn't you say that wrong?
What?
No?
I was told it was up in that part of the country, it's slippy.
It was slippy, and that's
yes.
if that's not if it's at least my word, if not other people's words. So it was very slippy, and then so we did some we did a whole bunch of yard work on Saturday morning, which was awesome, and then we would put the car up on the stands to do some motor mounts, and that's when we checked how bad the tires were.
We knew they were getting bad, but
we didn't think it was cord bad. So that's what I posted to Facebook. I think just only unless you reposted it, but it was pretty bad.
They were slicks. Were they corded?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't remember seeing the cords. I remember seeing the slicks.
One of them corded.
One of them corded.
Now,
no one expected that those were Chrissy's tires. Everyone thought that they were probably mine or yours.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to get another summer out of them, and I was in denial about getting another set of 18s on tires for how long a car that we're not sure how long we're going to keep. So we said, well, we don't really have an option because right now I'm not driving it. So we decided that's a good idea. I'm really glad that I didn't know that they were that bad when I was driving home from Pittsburgh, because I probably would have been a little bit more concerned. But, we made it home. It was all good.
Does this count as someone gets a flat tire for the Mango card?
I think it does. Let's count that. Anyone out there in podcast land, go ahead and check that box off.
I didn't. It did get flat, but it was close. You're right. And of course, who wants to do that on the side of the Pennsylvania Turnpike in the middle between Pittsburgh and in the rain by myself? Just didn't really want to do that. So then we had a lot of parties. We had a gender reveal party for my sister Jen and Len, who are having a boy. So yay! And then we had extended family party, family over for dinner, all good stuff. back to work. Yep, that's what I'm doing.
I getcha.
FA, what do you do?
I'll go next, and we'll finish with mental out on the West Coast, the hot coast. It was the wife's birthday weekend, so I worked on making her happy. We did a day down the shore. We went to a baseball game. We ate a bunch of seafood. It was a fun time was had by all. I did mow the lawn, and I did some yard cleaning after the fence project. Found all the screws and things that were lost in the gravel. So other than that, I didn't really do a whole lot. I will say that get used to this, because this weekend starts my 3 or 4 weeks of hell and not having like a day off. So I'll be lucky if I get anything accomplished in the next month or so.
I was totally jealous of some of the food. I mean, it's a stupid hipster thing to do, but yeah, those food posts were quite impressive.
We have like the greatest seafood place down here in the Jersey Shore, Mike's Seafood, Seattle City.
Mm. So I was dealing with RV life problems, which literally at 3:30 this afternoon was a different answer than what I'm about to give you right now, but hopefully will end soon. We needed propane and some propane accessories.
They go together.
Got no gas in it.
And honestly, the waste tanks, like, they're connected to the sewer, but they needed basically a high pressure cleaning, or the whole thing was going to start smelling like that. And then we finally managed to catch The Art of Racing in the Rain, which we had to go to another theater down the road to catch. So if you're interested in seeing that movie, jump on it, and we're going to talk about that actually next week. More on that as we get to the end of the show. So that was our week. And I would be remiss if I did not point out that exactly 20 years ago today, I walked into a ridiculous chain club in downtown Omaha, Nebraska called Banana Joe's. Was there with some of my college buddies, and a girl smiled at me, and everything that I thought my life was going to be changed. So 20 years ago today, I met my wife.
Aww. What a cute story. Were you in the military at that point?
Yes and no. I was in college in the Reserve Officer Training Corps.
Got it. Oh, you did say college. That's right.
Yes.
Well, awesome. Happy
meeting your wife anniversary.
Mental anniversary for Mental and Vicky.
Pretty much.
News
All right.
and notes that are not mental related.
So, folks, this one, you've already seen it. You've already heard it. It's all over the interwebs, but it's still a gut punch. Jesse Combs, the legendary builder, racer, fabricator, TV personality, all-around automotive hero, was killed yesterday in a crash while attempting to break her own land speed record in a desert in Southwest Oregon. She was 39 years old. Road and Track... 39. It's been updated. Road and Track and Jalopnik state that she will be remembered as a fearless competitor, a master fabricator, an advocate for women in the motorsports and the car community, and a constant positive presence in the motorsports and media. Like both Jalopnik and Road and Track, our condolences go out to her family, her friends, her teammates, and her fans worldwide. I have always been a huge Jesse Combs fan, and this one hurt.
So Chrissy and I raced with her on a Lemons team in California with Spank.
2011, I think people found, because they were posting pictures of it.
Class C Onslaught, right?
Yeah.
Class C Onslaught,
And she was filming a show as part of the whole thing, but she was super down to earth and nice. Like,
she was awesome.
Like anybody else on the team. So it was great.
And she was huge in pushing women in motorsports. And that's why I'm still upset about it. I still can't believe it. She was awesome just to meet her in person, but also, and so I kind of feel like at least I met her, so I kind of know who she is. But she was especially her following her on Facebook. She always had pictures of her with little girls, and I think a lot of women and girls looked up to her, and especially as a fabricator, because there's a lot of women in motorsports that just, stand around in racing suits. But she was something different, because she
a lot
really
of men in motorsports who do that too.
Oh, absolutely. But she was, welding was
an
her
amazing
thing.
fabricator.
Yeah, and that she was, doing things like the Baja 100 she was in Gentleman Racer.
The Race of Gentlemen.
Yeah,
she was the first female ever to compete in the Race of Gentlemen.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yep. So she just did all kinds of fun motorsports and fast stuff. She was huge into motorcycles, like regular motorcycles, and she was awesome. And I'm just really sad about it.
A lot of people know her outside of motorsports because she was also one of the young set of hosts on Mythbusters for a while.
When Carrie Bryan was on maternity leave, she took over. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So if you are in just so inclined, I actually believe Lemons posted the YouTube video of her on the bucket list.
The list.
Yeah,
The list.
1001 car things to do. Yeah.
Wait for our cameos. Chris and I are both on the video. Chris is eating a chip. And
that makes sense.
Not a gummy bear?
Yeah, it was a chip. I think that's where we actually coined the phrase because he's literally standing there eating a chip. And I make a video. I jump in one of the windows to do somebody's belts because, of course, I'm like, oh, I got to do this. And
we're doing pit stop. So, we were hurrying. Not everyone else was.
They were not. Yeah. So watch it, and you can watch for us too.
I will check it out. I saw it many years ago when it first came out because you two were on it, and I was like, hey, that's that girl I know from Power Block. She's an awesome welder, But then I don't think I knew her that she was a driver, as much of a driver as she seems to be.
Well, I don't know that was 2011, so we weren't the drivers we used to be then either. So
yeah, true.
So while Jesse installs this transmission, Jeff here is going to talk about these Edelbrock heads. Jeff, what do you think about these great new heads from Edelbrock?
I was going to say it's more like I'm trying to think Plasti Dip, or it's always Krylon, our Krylon products. We painted them up with deep purple today.
Chris's favorite's
and Jesse's got that transmission in now, so what else do we got?
That's my favorite.
All right. Hey, Volkswagen diesels are apparently popular again. Okay. Hey, article on Jalopnik in New York Times explains that that because they have a 48,000-mile warranty as great as the great gas mileage of the TDI, it's made the refurbished buyback diesels a hot commodity among consumers because they know the only way to own a Volkswagen is with a solid warranty, and that gives you a better one. So
note to self: until who now owns a Volkswagen,
non-diesel too.
If the electric stop working, the diesel will still fire. So
not the new ones.
But he doesn't have the diesel.
No, not the new ones. They're not compression and ignition.
Yeah, they still are.
Speaking of electrics,
got to
though,
pump that fuel at 30,000 psi.
Yeah, so there was a Vanity Fair article. Eric Schilling, also at Jalopnik, detailed this fiasco. Tesla's solar panel factory in Buffalo is a complete and utter disaster. Ring the surprise bell if you would like to. Best quote from the article in Vanity Fair is, quote, "But it's still illuminating that in the year of our Lord 2019, stories are still being written with great surprise that Elon Musk may in fact not live up to his big promises." So yeah, it's the Gigafactory. They've been talking about it for years. Many states gave much tax breaks to make sure the Gigafactory ended up in their state. And we all know from AOC's Twitter feed that if you're Amazon or Elon Musk, the state of New York will basically let you come there with no tax money. So it was out in Buffalo, and it's terrible. Pretty much everything is wrong. Read the article.
Okay.
Wow.
Great.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you? There was like Walmart sued them for breach of contract. There was fires. It's way deeper than you could possibly imagine.
But Como loves them. Como thinks they're great.
And going back to a conversation, I think Jeff, or maybe it was Mental Winnie, we all had one day about buying a Tesla and how, like, yeah, it's one of those wouldn't make sense for Chrissy's commute, would seem all right, but I said, I don't really want to own it because of the lack of support and the way they lock everything down. I was reading an article this week about how the original Tesla Roadsters are basically completely unsupported at this point. And there's one guy in Oregon who used to work for Tesla, and he's kind of adopted them, but he's making carbon fiber panels from scratch to replace them because he can't get a thing from Tesla.
No.
Yeah. And they sold under the amount of numbers that where federal law would require you to make the parts available for the 20 years or whatever the federal law is. So I don't know. Still go buy a Tesla. Netflix recently released a show called Hyperdrive. Anybody seen it?
Nope, not
Are we
yet.
gonna-
No.
No.
We got
Okay, in that next week's deal.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, we're just going to mention it here.
Okay.
So we will talk about it next week. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I will tell you that it's a drift competition. Obviously not real racing, but they managed to make it really interesting. I'm ready to go. Yes, I'm very excited to practice my Rockfords over the weekend. So go binge it, and we'll talk about it next week.
Okay. Speaking of Netflix and movies, Haggerty published a list of 7 greatest racing movies. I like this copy. Being the resident movie expert, I am not that. I'm going to list them. So, anybody surprised by these? It's a shame you probably all read them, so now you know what the answers are. I don't know of most of these because that's how I roll. If you didn't know that already, I apologize. Okay, so I'll just list them off. Should I start from the bottom?
No, start with go with because this is according to Haggerty readers. So
Okay. So they may be wrong.
Just go.
Okay, number 1, Le Mans. Steve McQueen Classic. Number 2, James Gardner Epic Field Grand Prix. Number 3, surprising, Fast and Furious. Surprised. 4, Rush. Ron Howard's spectacle focused on the rivalry between Niki Lauda and James Hunt. I did see that one, just as a note. Yay. Number 5 is Shirley Muldowney's biopic Heart Like a Wheel.
I'm going to interrupt real quick to say that if you have not seen this movie, go see it. It's about drag racing, but it's amazing. It's a great movie about a woman in motorsports. Mm-hmm. It'll make you cry.
The first Top Fuel, the first female Top Fuel, and first female funny car driver.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. All of that.
Great. All right. Yeah, that's inspiring. I might take you up on that. Number 6, unsurprisingly, one of my favorite movies, Senna. And finally, number 7, On Any Sunday, the 1970 motorcycle enthusiast documentary. Agreed or disagree? Come join the conversation. Haggerty wants to hear what you have to say, or you can tell us what you think.
Cool.
Right.
Haggerty's really stepped up their journalism game in the last several years, like to the point where it's really quite strong.
Yeah, they recruited a lot of the original crew from the Truth About Cars back when it was good.
Yeah,
there's some really great writers over there. Yeah,
so why aren't you? Oh, sorry, I get.
Wah wah.
Oh man,
Mental takes a shot. Keep going.
Now you can
And he
check
has
off.
to do his own.
Someone makes fun of someone.
So the Drive republished this image that is making the rounds on Facebook. It's the new 2020 Land Rover Defender. It was on the set of the new James Bond film. I really like it. I'm in love with it. The banter on the webs says that this is actually what the Discovery should have been, the Disco. I actually do tend to agree with that as well. Chris Chen over at the Drive ran down some of the possible features that they're showing in the picture: an integrated winch, the traditional big Alpine windows, that large rear passenger doors, and what should be huge wheel clearance and axle clearance. It could be a movie car modification, or it could be just that it was fully articulated on its air suspension. But I posted that picture up there just because I wanted Chrissy to have another choice in her next vehicle selection.
No way. No.
All
I
right.
already got a Land Rover on my list.
Chrissy
Fair
doesn't
enough.
want to drive a truck.
I don't
the
want-
Land Rover she's going to buy
Right.
or might buy is the least trucky version.
I'm not going to buy it anyway.
Fair enough.
I know.
All right,
I just
so,
like to look at it.
Yeah, this and all of the news shows are always in our show notes. So click on any of these, talk to us on our social media, let us know what you think about it.
All right, now it's time to talk about racing. Lucky Dog, they have awesome races, including the Rob Edworthy Memorial Race at Oregon Raceway Park, the Wild Dogs Grand Prix, Streets of Ensenada, Baja, Mexico, Halloween. Yeah, you heard that right. Halloween. In Portland International Raceway, Dog Days of Thunder, Top Dog Nationals. There's a lot of dogs here. Look, you want to check it out. Go to the 3rd annual Flocktoberfest racing gathering in the Bay Area. All of this action, you can find out about it. RaceLucky.com. Coming this weekend is their sold-out Laguna Seca event. We previewed it. That was actually last weekend, right?
Nope.
No,
it's
it's
right,
not. It's right now.
It's right
It's
now.
happening right now. Okay.
Hence the pink words. It's right now.
Oh,
Actually, they
okay.
just finished for today. Blue Line Racers Group won today with 201 laps.
And we're recording on Wednesday, the 28th, everyone. So
Yes, and they race. Yeah, so they race tomorrow too.
Got it.
Mhm.
Awesome. What do we know about the race? Anybody?
Well, we handicapped
It's a
it
good
last
track.
week, so we're gonna
It's
hold on.
Great track. There's 54 cars today.
Jordan
Nice.
Taylor was posting some stuff on his Instagram that we retweeted that he was walking around going, folks, I'm here at Laguna Seca testing a new race car, running with a new team, really excited. Flips the camera around. It's a Lucky Dog Miata with a giant wing.
That
Just
green one?
showing how, no, it's a black one because even Sloman said, hey, I've driven that car. It's a rocket ship. Just shows how humble Jordan Taylor, even as a top-notch IMSA competitor, really is about being out there having fun, stealing seats.
Where'd you put it on you twatted it? What did?
Twats the gram?
Greg did not do very well today. They must have had some bad cars. They were in 46th out of 54, so they
That's
didn't do
too
well.
bad.
Oh.
Now, folks that may have done better, this weekend was the Champ Car Gingerman 8+7 Enduro. Saturday, number one was Bavarian Mustache Works in a 93 BMW. Second was Gluglavuz Racing Team in another boring BMW. And third was Two Brothers Racing in a not boring Mercedes 190. Sunday, Two Brothers took the overall, then Mustache.
The
mighty 190.
Go ahead,
Yeah, there we go. Good. Sunday, Two Brothers took it, and then Mustache. Two Brothers was actually a B-class car, their version of the B-class car, and it won first in class on both of those days. We did handicap this race.
Welcome to A, guys.
I don't think they do that over there.
Now, some of the good cars, Crank Yankers, was the ones we thought would be good. Crank Yankers was 5th on Saturday, 41st Sunday, despite setting fast time of the day with a 146.04. And yeah, that's how it often goes with fast time of the day, including we know exactly what that's like when you set fast time of the day because you're pushing it hard and then you blow it up. Yeah. Hakuna Miata. That's a wonderful way to say it. It's 25th Saturday, 37th Sunday. Not so good.
Daring Greatly Racing in their newly built 05 CTS was 47th on Saturday, but they did get to 20th on Sunday. So whatever they did, they worked it out, I guess.
That seems like a solid performance for an 05
you should
Cadillac CTS.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
None of mine did well here. Number 69, nice. Number 69, nice.
Exactly.
Racing 32nd on Saturday, 44th on Sunday. 4 dudes, 1 cabin, which I still like their BMW, not very boring. 635 CSI, 48th, and then 43rd on Sunday. Woo. But Lords finished 35th on Saturday, climbed to 28th. So nobody did very well there.
Also this weekend, Lemons was at Heartland Park in Topeka, Kansas. We did the 37 cars. I tried really hard to get this data, so if whoever came in there and filled out this final racing data,
I did.
You are awesome. Thank you.
Some of it, but there's plenty of them that I couldn't find, actually.
All right.
Well, some of the good. Spank's amazing Toyota Chinook camper. They're real racing at Black Iron Racing. They camped in there and back. Took IOE. Of course it did. It was It was 17th overall.
Holy cow!
I mean, there's only like 29 cars, but still 17th overall.
Still.
And its fastest lap was more than 30 seconds slower than the next slowest fastest lap. So, yeah. So the fact that it just kept running, and they made coffee while they were racing. They watched a movie.
There were pictures of them they took the mattress part out of the bed, and Spank was laying on it in the parking lot. And they were showing.
Well, it's very convenient.
All the stuff they took out of it to camp.
We thought we were slick because we towed the race car with the RV. We still have a middleman that we can cut out. Just race the RV.
I mean, racing your RV would be epic.
Yeah, they say, if you get depending on how that all plays out, there might be a Lemons RV available very soon.
Property devaluation, their 302 Power D36, 74 laps all weekend. Not so good.
No.
Apocalyptic Racing, your Ecotech Toilet, 3rd overall. Another strong weekend for Brett Sloman and those guys. Badge of Citizens 1947 Plymouth Special Deluxe 14th. That means a 1947 Plymouth beat half of a field of endurance racers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had the Adventurous, and we mentioned these last week, but we're not going to mention them all because we didn't get places for them all. Skid Steer and their 79 Mercury Bobcat came in 18th. No idea how Tommy Salami did in their 74 Pinto. MST 3000 and their Mitsubishi 3000 came in 6th.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Triumph TR from Jet, no idea.
Nope.
Warthog Racing and their 84 Vet came in 19th. And 11% in the X19 came in 16th. And
So I
did
think-
good math.
Yay. I think the thing is it says there are 37 cars, but I think there's only like 23 pinged or something. So that's why I think none of these were actually on there. Also, the sad story of Mental's buddy Jerry didn't do any laps, but was still on race monitor. So it was just sad that he just sat at the bottom because he blew up on testing day.
Oh,
He was asking
well.
for a borrowed car, didn't find any, or maybe he did, but his car didn't run.
Was that-
nothing ran under his name?
I was going to say, which car did he bring?
The half Aston.
The half Aston? Yeah.
I'm
That's a
scheduled
shame.
to drive that in November, so I hope it gets
Oh,
fixed.
good luck.
I thought he said it was. I thought he said he was a Miata.
Oh, yes, right. He's got his
Miata.
He does have a Miata. That's right.
And he
How
said it went,
Jerry
like-
fits in the Miata, I have no idea.
No.
But,
He should have brought the half Aston, obviously.
also,
It sounded
one last thing. The overall winner was Cone Killer in a Solstice. by the
Yes,
way.
I saw this.
Ooh.
Yes.
I'm sure it was a supercharged Solstice.
We should call them or something. I tell them not to hit things because it's
Yeah.
a crazy thing to try to get.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway,
There's only
so
3 people that can straighten the frame.
basically, so Team Right of Way in their Civic Duty was 22nd overall. Pedestrian Hitman in their BMW is 12th, and the rest of them that we talked about I could not find. So I'm not sure what happened to you, or you changed your name, or it wasn't on Race Monitor. So sorry.
Yep. Okay.
So, because they love to double tap themselves, Champ Car is headed to Tom this weekend in Thompson's decidedly less friendly staff for a 12-hour enduro. I really hope they've got that front gate issue worked out. And for any of you Champ Car racers that are planning on sleeping in the Walmart parking lot, we're really, really sorry about the hassle you're going to get. So
We're not
right now
that
they've
sorry,
got
though.
No, we're not.
they've got 33 cars signed up. I expect that'll be a little bit bigger. 10 BMWs.
Boring.
11 Miatas, 1 Honda, 2 P cars, and a Mustang SVO awaken the Why You Ruined Classic jihad.
33 cars, huh? All right. Lots of room. So the Boston Whiners set the fastest lap at the Lemons race last weekend. If they can keep their car together and not crash it and not be super aggressive, they'll be in the hunt because they can be fast. Jamaican Bacon, we've spoken about them before.
They'll do well.
They're usually okay.
So the Adventurous, mostly safe car choices here because it's not as exciting as a Lemons paddock where you're kind of daring each other to bring something stupid. There's the SVO, Crazy Horse Racing, Big Guy Racing, and their Escort ZX2 will be there. They're bringing a 944 because I guess they want to wrench more often. And there is a 300 ZX. Good luck, suckers.
So
Maybe they want a spare motor.
Oh, let me call them.
Yeah.
But then we have to go to Thompson. That's far away.
No, they
A
come
lot
get
of
it.
back and forth about Lemons versus Champ, but some of the teams still get it. Like Shut Up Racing, is it not like Shut Up? Shut Up Racing and Full Send Motorsports, both in boring BMWs. Falkensteiner in the sole Honda entry. Let's see how they do.
Awesome. Listener feedback.
Corey
Who's got
D had a small correction from the 100th show. The Ranwin Parked Racing Oldsmobile Omega is a GM X body, not a J body like the planned Insolix Buick Skyhawk. Now, that was my screw up. Chrissy apologized for it. But as Corey said, Malaise era GM hoopties are all pretty much look the same. But this is the classy one with wood grain dash inserts and weighs 3,400 pounds dry for all that luxury. He added, thanks for the show. It makes long trips go by quickly.
Yeah, I definitely was, because I compared it to the Buick Skyhawk or the
Which is
Sky
different than the
Lark.
Skylark.
Yeah, like I thought the Lark, because the, whatever, the Omega is like the Skylark. Go on.
That's
We
a
don't need to
story
start
that,
that again.
goes nowhere. That's basically what that one is.
Other listener feedback.
Jen Mature Stewart had several points about the 100th episode by first saying that she listens to them all. She got us a double-digit listener count. Yeah, I think so. And she would totally listen to a Star Wars podcast. And definitely she's going to have some input on that one. Mental.
Got a text from the partner on that Star Wars podcast. He's like, oh, crap. We've got a fan. I guess we actually have to do this now.
A fan. Yep. And Star Wars fans definitely won't have any feedback for you on anything.
Nope.
No. Jen continues that as much as she doesn't know anything about cars, even she's learned a few things here and there and find the podcast very entertaining and look forward to listening with new episodes. I think Jeff's list at the end was already in order. Mental's Hair is obviously number one. The rest are tied for close second equally. Congrats on 100. And hey, because Jen's pregnant, she's not drunk as she writes this, so this might actually be true. So there we go.
She's also a great DD because not drunk. Okay, so I posted up my street tire racing slicks and asked what you working on. So we got all kinds of feedback about that. Giant Dave was prepping his C10, aka Chet, for next weekend's local car show in Woodbury. He mentioned his Rally Chevelle, right? Better known as Gloria, will also be taking. For years, I've been going to a look-see. This is my first year of actually entering. Chet/Gloria are named after my paternal grandparents who live just a block off Broad Street in Woodbury, where the show will be hosted. Very cool.
Eric K was also sharing in the wear with a tire wear with a race set that he worn through the cords only. Actually, I'll go back. Sasha dropped off a tire to our paddock. It was a Yokohama AO52, that new tire the Yokohama Gamma toured or Twidwear. And Sasha and I had been talking before the race about, I'm interested to see how they work out, right? This should be great. So at the end of Saturday, he rolls up with this tire and says, here, this is how Yokohama turned out. It's good. It had not only worn through the rubber, it had been worn through the cords. It had then worn through the belts. So all that was left was the inner rubber bladder, and it was ballooning out of the casing. It was great. And Eric was also getting his Porsche CV boot on and adapting his fitness plan after Thompson. And Carl Applegate also was doing oily BMW things. He said he's getting really good at this. He had the engine out by himself in 2 hours. So, yeah, lots of practice.
Yep. Dr. Florida Man, the subject of another great show this week was the Tempest podcast. He was actually car shopping, which isn't odd because it's Donnie and he does that all the time. But he suffers from the same ailment as the rest of us. Quote, it's really hard to pick a new daily when you refuse to drive something normal.
Yeah.
I was going to say, how many cars does he have? We discussed that already.
All of them.
Too many.
Yeah, all of them.
Go back and listen to that show and you'll find out.
Yeah, go listen to that.
But listen to him on the Tempest podcast this week. It's everything we love about Donnie.
Oh, I haven't heard it yet. I'll check it out. Young Chris Egan, who's like 30-ish or something now, he started up the Nerd Talk. He cranked it up all about his instructor intercom refinement. Now I'm going to read these words, but don't ask me what they mean. The Rev A boards work, but he picked up some bad resistor values, dialing in those, then working on Rev B to shrink the overall size down. Overall looks promising. So I guess he's building stuff. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Revision A.
Yes, I understand Revision A, Revision B, but
oh well.
Resistors?
Bill F. In between buying cars every 10 minutes, he was on our. He was looking at our HPD car prep, and he's prepping for 4 cars, actually, for Watkins Glen we're going, and New Hampshire prep for 2 more race cars. So he's got plenty to do. Kurt.
So many cars.
Curtis of Terminally Confused, who has the best butt in the world. He's down for the count a little bit.
Everybody, don't get excited.
Yeah, after his partial knee replacement, so he's a little bit more bionic now, even more than he already was. He's missing some car stuff, so he's turned his attention to a Lego race car that DC Doug suggested he hurl into the wall when he's finished to make it just like Lemons. And Kurt also wants us to remind those going to CMP to make sure to come eat his butt Saturday night, as is tradition at CMP. He's not driving that weekend.
Not the pork butt. He actually means his ass on that one.
It's whatever you want to do. He's not driving that weekend. He's only cooking. Donations going to Lemons of Love as always. So that leaves him lots of time for doing butt stuff. So please bring a side and a donation to a very worthy cause, and we hope Kurt feels better soon.
I'm still reeling from all the butt talk. Cressida, mom, not his mom. She's
team mom.
I'm going to say team photographer.
True.
And Cressida groupie. Bobbin had a shiny new brake jump on her boy's 2003 Mazda B2300 which she followed by broke a brake line on the rust bucket, back to the flaps, then came, followed by the need for a new wheel cylinder because the bleeder broke off. Effing rust. That is Project Creep in a nutshell right there. I got a new brake drum, broke the brake line, went back to the car parts store, came back, then broke it at the wheel cylinder and needed a wheel cylinder.
We've all been there.
Yeah, I feel like we've been there on one of Jeff's cars.
Just one.
Yeah.
The Avalanche.
Oh, the Avalanche. Yes.
That was the poster child for Brake Project Scope Creep.
That was. So let's turn to someone else. Michael Kay was winning Class C against such fierce competition as the Chinook in his stock Fiat X19. So he posted up there too.
He's beating competition like a Chinook and a stock Fiat X19.
Oh.
Michael Kay does not have a Fiat X19.
Oh, he does not. What was he in?
I don't know, but it's not a stock Fiat X19. That X19 had the great team. They were team 11%.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay. Let's move on. E1R's number one Kiwi, Brett Sloman, Aaron, gave us some feedback about Topeka via Twitter. I'm excited to hear about this. So the track is relatively challenging. One good puckering, fast blind curve, and a fun carousel. Chicane near the rear straight is a blast, and some technical corners where it's hard to find a rhythm. Facilities are top notch. Plenty of RV hookups and garages, and parking space would easily accommodate 70 teams or more. Only shortcoming is lack of bathrooms in the lower pit by the start line. He also mentioned good location with gas stations and hotels nearby, as well as a dance club for younger teammates.
Quote, dance club. I believe.
Ballet. Right?
I changed that on the
Bring your ones, everyone. So let's talk about the race. He said, quote, best team here was a group of Warthog pilots in a C4 Corvette. Great attitude showed up on in their squadron limo, complete with eBay double pane wing or wang. What is it, a wang when it's got two? I don't know. They served shots from a 30mm casing, the Gatling gun attachment. They had a very good potluck hosted by Team Skid Steer.
Now, he also gave us a rundown how they did on the weekend. Papa looked at an interesting weekend. They struggled early in the rain and fell back a bit when the real control arm came loose, giving the car unplanned rear steer. That's always a pucker.
Nothing wrong with that.
Came back at the end of the day with it turned out to be the fastest lap of the weekend on a dry track. Sunday struggled in the wet, and I managed to Wiener step with two black flags that if they taken away would have given us the overall win. First flag was avoiding a spinning car, and the second flag he misjudged the drying track and turned the whole car around. Small field made for good times in the paddock. We met pretty much every team for a change, including some we have raced with for years but never ended up close to in the paddock. Gave the whole weekend an 8 out of 10 and said he would go back.
That's pretty good. So do you want to have almost as much fun as Brett? How about supercar short drive north of Topeka? XX Speed will be just outside of Omaha, Nebraska at Raceway Park of the Midlands. In September, they're going to Utah Motorsports Campus, Michigan International Speedway, and make plans to ride with Mental or pay a lot extra, hopefully to charity, to not ride with Mental at Wild Horse Parish in Arizona in November. December, Mental is going to be there at Driveway in Austin, Texas. Pick your car, pick your track, pick your date. Use code EveryoneRacers to give 25% off. Because Extreme Experience, now it's your turn.
There it is.
I'm trying to come up with something witty, and it's not coming. Hey, Mom. Hey.
Main topic time. So this week we're going to talk about vision, and Chrissy and I came up with this idea while we were sitting in our HPDE 2 class in Pittsburgh, and our instructors gave about an hour-long conversation on vision, and it's one of those things you never really talk about other than keep your eyes up, and we know it's much deeper than that, and having a chance to talk about it made us really decide that we want to talk about it more. So we're here to talk about vision. So I'm going to start by saying I am a former biology student. I have dissected many animals. I could talk about cranial nerves, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the human animal for a minute. We are vision hunters. We are like sight hounds. Our evolutionary biology is predicated on sight. If you don't believe me, what would you rather do? Have headphones on, you can't hear anything, or have someone poke your eyes out and then run? You need your sight more than any other sense for balance, for movement, for all of these things in your physical body. Now, I know blind people do amazing things, and that is absolutely 100% true, but they have lots of changes that I'm not going to get too deep in the thing. Just know, humans, you need your vision, all right? The senses are used to detect all the references on the track. You hear things, you smell things, you do things, but vision matters most to the human psyche. And obviously, in a moving race car, you gotta see. And this is how to see better. Who wants to start it off?
I will start. So we have kind of a bunch of different thoughts, and I think some of it's fairly thought-provoking. So let's talk senses, just to run these things by, right? So visual is what we're going to talk about. So you also have, especially in the race car, auditory, touch, balance, pressure, concentration, all of these other things. So Chris was mentioning that he has a story that he would like to tell right now.
Well, it's just a visual eye scanning story. I was at an Evolution Autocross school in my E36 M3 back in the day, and I was riding with an instructor.
Boring.
I know.
Sorry.
Thank you. No, we're coming into it was a 90-degree turn, coming a little bit before the finish, and I'm in the turn. My eyes are not up, and I am braking and turning, and it's not going well. My instructor said, "Look at the finish." My eyes popped up, and the second my eyes popped up, without thinking at all, my right foot moved from gas to full throttle, and it exited the corner with just a dab of oppo, and it was a perfect segue out of the corner. But if I hadn't moved my eyes up when he said, I would not have gone to the gas. And I didn't think, I can go to the gas now. It just happened. As soon as I looked, it happened. So give that a try.
I think I like this. I think I had a similar situation when I was struggling with turn 5 at Pittsburgh at the HPD, and I was not looking up the hill. I was too focused on going down the hill and then looking at the apex at the bottom of the hill. And I'm pretty sure one of my instructors said, if you're looking up the hill, you can see how much track is left, and you're just going to want to go up the hill. So I think that's definitely a good idea. But the problem is sometimes it doesn't happen when you are doing it yourself. Sometimes it helps when somebody else is telling you. Go ahead, Mental.
And if any of you guys are doubting the veracity of any of these claims, think about the last time you were in a race car and you caught the car in front of you because you were faster. But then all of a sudden, you couldn't get around that car. And I would venture to bet the reason that is because now you were staring at that car and not your reference points on the racetrack, which doesn't put your eyes, your brain, or anything past that vehicle. And we see this a lot, especially a lot of the pointy end of the field. Amanda and the Bavarian guys, they'll run up, and then you come up on two slower cars that are really kind of duking it out because their eyes aren't in the right spot. And then now we're forced to kind of deal with that situation while we get past them.
We all know the adages, and maybe we should start there because we know there are beginners out there who maybe haven't heard all of these things. So when you get into a race car, your instructor is most likely to say like the same 3 or 4 things. Keep your eyes up. Look down the track. Don't target fixate. Look where you want the car to go. If you stare at the rock, you're going to hit the rock. If you stare at the exit, you're going to hit the exit. So these, I really think these become mantras that lose meaning. We don't really know what they mean. We just know, look up. Oh, yeah, of course, I'm looking up. Mm-hmm. Look down the track. I'm looking down the track. I think I'm looking at the right thing. But it's way more complex than that. So what Mental was just saying and what Chris was just saying about being, hush, puppy.
I need a barking dog.
Oh, he's whining.
That's close. It was a whining dog.
That's close.
Oh, I think
dog.
That means I get bingo. Yeah.
Aw.
Does whining count as barking, or does whining count as shaking?
It wasn't shaking.
No, definitely not shaking.
Whine and barking, yeah. Man, I'm so close. All I need is mental is drunk, and you'd think that's an easy one, but
oh shoot!
Sorry,
Okay.
it's the other Wednesday. The club's closed. I'm stone cold.
Oh, it's a shame. Okay, let's keep going. So I thought this was interesting. This is a note from our class. What you look at and when should not be a random process. So think about when you're driving a race car or a street car. Do you have a process? You guys, go. Do you have a process? Is it random?
I absolutely have a process.
I have a process, but I didn't realize it was a process until I sat through this class.
Yes.
I have a ridiculous process, and it started when I went to racing school, but I began to refine it years later after I went to one of Steve McDaniel's meetings of here's how you never get a black flag. And it was downshift, brake, flag station, turn. And I brought that into my process, and then I realized that, and you're going to talk about this in a second, so I don't steal your thunder, but I realized that by verbalizing what I should be looking at, my head will go there. And so, no, I've probably got a 7-point checklist that when I'm racing, every corner that I'm looking at or every straightaway. And then if it's a new track, I'll take advice from other people and try and pick stuff on that. And then when I'm instructing, I start out with the 4 basics, and then I start adding in, okay, what was that corner worker doing? That sort of thing.
Chris was hesitant on answering this.
Well, I didn't answer yet because everyone else did. I can't quantify it. I can't put it into words. I don't know.
So let me try and explain it the way that I think people do it wrong, and then Chrissy can do it right. I think when people were harped on to say, look down the track, they pick like an arbitrary distance. 200 feet, 300 feet, whatever it is, and they kind of keep their eyes there. And I think that's the error. That's wrong. That is not the way you should be driving around the track. You shouldn't be driving around the track focused at a arbitrary distance. And this is what Chris, do you want to talk about it, or do you want me to do it? About how the series they talked about, like, look here.
Yeah, you can go.
Okay, so what they did was they showed a video, and do we have the link to that video, the one that had the dot on it?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
not the hill climb one.
Not the hill climb one.
We have the other one.
Okay,
the Racers 361.
Okay, they showed it. Well, we can talk about that later. Then I'll talk about this one. They showed a hill climb video where they had electrodes on the hill climber's face that showed what he was looking at. And, a hill climb starts at the starting line, and the only thing he's looking at is the light.
The go light.
It started, you could see him like hit all the gauges, like it's gauge 1, gauge 2, gauge 3, gauge 4, right?
See him scan
and then
the
pops
gauge
up
and
to
then
the
go
light.
up to the light. And he waits on the light, and he waits on the light, and waits on the light. As soon as the light goes green, he looks not down the track at a specific distance. He looks at the first apex. And as soon as he gets close, his eyes move up to the exit, down the straight, to the next apex, to the next exit, at the turn in. And so his eyes went to just jumped down. It wasn't a smooth flow. It was look at that, then look at that, then look at that, then look at that. And I think that's what we really should be telling our when we're instructing people. And this is actually what I used to do with Extreme Experience. I used to say, have hungry eyes. Look for that exit cone. Look for that entry cone. Don't just look at the street surface. Look at the break point, the turn-in point, the exit point, the straight, the turn-in point, the exit point, break point. Go ahead, Metal.
And I feel like those are the building blocks. And once you kind of get that stuff down, it should it should be a seamless flow of your eyeballs from all these different points. And I feel like that might be what Chris is having difficulty verbalizing, because you're painfully smooth on the track, annoyingly smooth.
I think what I do is I pick points that matter, but I don't go to every one. Like I don't hit every apex, every turn. I don't think so. I look at the ones that I've kind of decided are critical for the transitions and things. Mm-hmm. But then I kind of cycle back between those and being closer where I am to kind of set my position, and then back out. Like my eyes are moving all the time. It's not just one spot and then the next spot, and then the next spot. It's critical component out front, back to where I am quickly, critical component back quickly, and it's moving along the track the whole time. And that might be, a certain turn-in that I have to do a different way. It might be a flag station. It might be whatever the case may be, but I guess I'm also used to racing in such heavy traffic all the time that I always revert back to looking close to me to make sure I've got what's going on around me, but not only that, because you've got to see where ahead too.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what we're saying. You're just looking. Your eyes are moving from important point to important point, without. And you're not constantly flowing down the track. You're look at that, then look at that, then look at that, then look at that, to all the important parts. And you could scan back. It is highly possible that you're going to get to that straight and you're going to gauges, flag stand, back to the gauges, then to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that it's linear, but it's point to point to point, interest point to interest point to interest point.
Mm-hmm. I guess I was trying to say you don't have to hit all of them. Like, you don't have to say, I feel like you have to look at every single turn and every single apex, every single track out. Like, if anything, pick one of them, the one that's important, because sometimes the apex is a lot more important than the track out, or sometimes the turn-in is for you. And it also might be what is more important for you. If you are ruining your turn-ins by turning in too early every time, look at where you want to turn in a little longer than you would have otherwise, or look at where you want to track out to. Because if you're looking at where you want to track out, that'll help you hit it the right way, or it'll help you at least know, well, I screwed that up by turning in too early. Things like that. So some of it's on what you're working on.
Yeah.
I think a lot of what we talked about in RHBD, which is what we were kind of building this off of, was perfect scenario. So watching a hill climb, you're going up a hill by yourself. You're not looking for other cars or people for that matter. And then the Racers 360 video that we have in here is a guy talking about where you should be looking, and looking out and making sure that you're looking past the apex and into the track out, far away, coming around a corner, but he's on a closed track by himself. So I think there's it's hard to bounce back and forth, or it's easy to get fixated on some things, and that's where we come up with these kitschy taglines of getting fixated on things because you're looking at the race cars that are in front of you, and then that's clouding your it's kind of like if the car is in front of where you would be looking for the second marker out, you're kind of stuck looking at the cars and what they're doing.
Your vision's obstructed by the traffic, yes. But also then try to look through them if you can. Like, I've done that a lot of times, looking through the windows of other cars, and it's saved me from a lot of things, actually.
Oh, especially when you see brake lights through cars. Okay, anyway, so my next note was what Mental stole my thunder. Do your own vision drill, make yourself say it out loud. What you're doing, looking at, will force you to recognize it, which is a funny, because I do not do this, but I already talk to myself a lot. So maybe I'll just add this to my vernacular, and instead of just saying go, I will add words that are actually helpful of what I'm supposed to be looking at or not looking at.
So instead of VTEC power, it's look at
I do that.
Look over the top of the hill at the track out. Right.
The problem is that, like, if I used to do my checklist of apex, track out, and then I would use that as my actual checklist, and when I hit it, I say, okay, check. But that makes me look down, and that makes me look at the thing that I had just done, rather than looking at the next one or two ahead, which is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Yep, and check your mirrors. Everybody knows that, except for the blue car that hit us, because they didn't look at the mirrors.
But they know now.
Yes.
Hopefully. It was just that one guy. I'm going to talk a little bit more about keeping your eyes up. Everyone's, you've heard that at racing. Keep your eyes up. Keep your eyes up. What does that even mean? And it's what we're talking about of looking further ahead, further down the track, so you know what's coming, so you're not reactionary, so you can plan for it. And your eyes have to keep moving, because if you just fixate on one thing, you're missing everything else. And that's one thing I learned a bit in pilot training and in all the years on sailboating and stuff, is that you can't you've got to keep moving your eyes, but you also need to move your head too. If you're just moving your eyes, you're missing out on a little bit of the different change in perspective that comes with moving your head to side that's going to make things look a little differently. So do that. Move your head, move your eyes, move everything around. Keep looking elsewhere. It's going to give you a better chance of seeing what you want. Yeah.
So there was an interesting discussion that I actually agree with you, not with my instructors at NASA.
Okay.
So I talked to them about 7 in Thompson, the hairpin. Was it 5?
7. 5 is a hairpin.
5 is a hairpin. So I said that I have trouble sometimes turning my head far enough to be seeing the point that I can see. And I talked about, like, it's like a tight 90 and not everyone had been there. And they looked at me like I was weird and they said, "Why are you moving your head? You should be keeping your head as still as possible and moving your eyes." And I said, "Well, that's a really weird thing to say. Like, I always move my head. It's one of the reasons I like my next gen more than I like a Hans, because I like to, I like to be able to turn my head or to move my chin up to be able to see further down the track." And they basically said that could lead to like dizziness. And they suggested keeping your head as still as possible and using eye movement more than head movement. Mental, I can see from your face that you think I do.
So that biologically doesn't make any sense. And Jeff, you went into the anatomy and the construction of the eye. Center point of your eye, you've got rods and cones, and especially in different light situations, they function differently. And Chris is going to nod from pilot training. They tell you to do this constantly. Move your entire head, because there's stuff that shows up in your periphery better than it does when you're looking dead on at it. And if you want to take in as much information as possible, you've got to get as many of your eye senses into that big screen as possible, and that involves moving your head and your eyes.
It's more different views for your brain to process and piece together. So,
yeah, they said that moving side to side, and sorry about the microphone sound as I'm doing that,
that just made me a little dizzy.
Yeah, could change the way that your balance center is moving down the track, and suggested it totally for someone who gets dizzy and queasy.
Ralph.
So I actually brought this to our friends on the race team who get a little queasy, and I said, "Did you try to just move your eyes?" He said, "Yeah, that was terrible." So I don't know.
All right. Well, hey, some more things on this is the car's going to go where you're looking. It's amazing how your eyes and your brains and your hands work together, and it's just like what I gave my Evo School example later.
Oh,
earlier.
yeah, there it is.
Yeah, Jeff just found the video that we were talking about earlier, so we'll get that on here. You don't have to think about where you're going. You just have to look there, and everything else is going to work out, because you have years and years of practice of your eyes and your brain and your hands all working together to do stuff. Let it work. You don't have to force it. And we're talking about reference points. Pick ones that don't move. I see plenty of people pick like a car, or if you're back to
or shadows. Our
right?
Instructors were talking about a really good shadow, like the edge of a shadow, and then an hour later it's somewhere different.
Yeah. So pick ones that don't move. One of my favorite reference points that I ever had was a braking reference point when we were racing the Ridge, and Spank and I were Ironmanning the Austin America to a 12th overall. My braking reference point was a flower on the side of the track. I brake at the flower. But yeah, it can be anything like that. Whatever catches your eye, that's a point you can look for, go for it. That doesn't move. Yeah, mental.
Same problem in Pueblo. At the Pueblo Motorsports Park, they had the markers for the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but every time the guy mowed the lawn, he'd move the markers. So everybody was using. So I mean, it wasn't a huge difference, but they'd be a couple of feet off in the first lap. You just learn never trust the markers. So everyone started using houses. Yeah, everyone started using houses in the development that was off in the distance. Well, the yellow house, everyone knew the yellow house when you were coming into the hairpin, painted his house. And that first race, a bunch of people went off in the hairpin because where's the yellow house? Crap, I'm out of track.
Really? Yeah. Wow. I mean, it sounds like what we did for the red markers in the movable Armco type thing at Thompson, coming after the
don't look at the red ones.
bowl.
Look at the gap in the fencing where the pavement goes into the black leg.
But because they had moved the red ones, they used to be there, and then they were not. Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's all I'm good there. Jeff, what do you think?
I was gonna probably suggest we move on to peripheral vision because it was suggested a few times, but we really didn't talk about it. Do we need to define peripheral vision? Peripheral vision is stuff you see out the side of your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, who wants to say something about peripheral vision?
I mean, I'll go on that a bit. I think my peripheral vision through racing in crowded, packed fields has definitely improved in the last 10 years of doing this. Like, I see cars out of the side of my eyes that I'm not thinking about. And this even saved us once in the street. We were coming up to a stoplight near Chrissy's parents' house, and there's 4 lanes, 2 go straight, right turns, left turns. Someone in an Escalade is barreling up the right lane, and I see them coming, and I know they're not going to make that turn. And so I jack the brakes in the Mercedes, and sure enough, they realize at the last second they're not going to do it, and they're coming up behind me, like just in that blind spot, but it's enough I can see it, and they basically pop up over the curb right into our lane, right exactly where I was going to be. And I'm used to looking out for people doing dumb things near me, so I caught it. So watch out for that kind of thing. And if you use it effectively, it's really going to be good for you. And like Mental was saying earlier, the pilot training, like he's seen so many pilots do this, and what he's been through, you get all those different perspectives by moving around and seeing the different views and things you catch out of your peripheral vision that you wouldn't necessarily see if you're looking straight at it. So use the peripheral vision to see the whole track. Things like flag stations. If you're turning one way and up ahead is a flag station that you can see out of your peripheral vision, can you guess that there's any colors going on there? If you're thinking about it, maybe you can probably see a hint of yellow, which is just enough to draw your attention to it. It's all you need. Other cars in traffic, when they're running close, you don't need to look over there and see it, because if you do, you're going to go more slowly. You just need to know they're there and they're getting close. But I don't need to go look and see, they are 2.3 feet from me. It doesn't matter. You just need to know they're there. And it really shouldn't require shifting that primary focus away. Really, it's what triggers an alert. What do you need to look at? Just a basic understanding of what's there.
And if you see a flash of yellow, you can then adjust your vision to go look at it.
Absolutely. Or if you see the blue car keep coming in and in at you, adjust your vision and look at it. Right.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Matt, you got something on this?
So, yeah. Exactly what Chris was saying. Compared to our animal counterparts, our peripheral vision is very, very weak. So we're not good at this with regard to detail, color, and shape. But we're really, really good at picking up on flicker and motion. So piggybacking on Chris's thing is, that flag station is there, but keep looking at your braking point. And then if something moving goes there, then turn your attention, because they usually don't wave anything other than a yellow flag, and that's going to get your attention. Then, okay, process the yellow flag. I can't pass anybody. Back off of that one. So in that, but now the other aspect of this is also exactly what Chris is saying. When you have static motion, i.e. you and the car next to you are traveling at the same speed, and in relation to your perspective, they're in the same spot. Be careful about, because they can kind of disappear. You turn your head to make sure that they're still there, and you end up driving into that car. So always stay focused on your primary parts and use that peripheral vision. Just know what it's going to track. And this is like so much of everything we talk about. You don't have to be on a racetrack to practice this. Chris, you talk about that Escalade incident. How many times when you were riding a motorcycle did that save you?
Oh, well, on the motorcycle, your head is always moving, I feel like. And you're also looking at, like, you're a little higher there, so you can see, they're totally texting while they're driving. Yep.
Totally.
Just get away from that.
You learn to start looking for alert signs in your peripheral vision. Chrissy.
I think you do this a lot more in smaller cars and lower cars.
Because the NSX, you're always watching out.
So remember when we were driving in Delaware in the Miata, and the van came over into us and was going to come into us.
Oh, yeah. We were ahead of them to the right. They were in the left lane. We were in the right lane, and we were just ahead of them enough that if you're in this big ass van, it was actually like a fire chief or something even, which makes it even better. And you just couldn't see the little Miata around the F350. And it just started coming over in the lane, and out of the left side of my eye, I saw this guy coming over, and I start moving over, and I nail the gas and nail the horn.
But things like that, I feel like, and I do the same thing in the NSX, but smaller cars, lower cars, you have to be more cognizant, especially on the road, because you need to assume that people don't see you. So same thing as a motorcycle, but you're still driving in a car, and it's still just as bad.
And I'm sure that MG horn was every bit as loud as a foot scraping against a floorboard.
Oh, it's the Miata.
It was Miata.
Oh, okay.
The NB. The Miata. The MG has air horns, so that would have been fine. The MG also has no muffler, so you hear it. Yeah.
So I did hear the freedom over your head there, Mental. I just want to say that like the opposite of using all of your vision and making sure that things are going on in your periphery is like the laser focus, the staring straight at it and target fixation. Does anybody have anything on tunnel vision or target fixation? Or I'll jump in on this one if you want me to.
Well,
I've got tons on target fixation. I can talk all day about it. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, just a tip of if you find yourself looking too close too often, or you think you might, or you think a friend might be looking too close too often, put a thin piece of tape across the windshield at about the spot that they don't really need to look down there. And it's just enough. It's not going to obstruct their vision, but it's a training cue for them. If they happen to be catching themselves looking at the tape or below the tape, they can self-correct and no, I don't need to be looking that close. Because if it's that close, it's too late. You're not going to do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Look up.
Absolutely. And tunnel vision happens to everyone. As predators, we have pointy teeth and thumbs, and our eyes face in the same direction. We are attracted to motion. So we do tend, and this is why it gets hard to pass that car in front of you, because you're staring at the moving car, and to the detriment of everything else that's going on around you.
Yeah, absolutely. If you target fixate on the racetrack and you are paying attention to the bumper of the car in front of you, you're going to do nothing but stay behind him or her. Chris already said it. Look through the cars, look down the track. It doesn't matter what is directly in front of you. You need to be able to look past it. I'm going to say one quick target fixation story on the racetrack because it is, I believe, my most recent yellow flag or my most recent black flag incident. So I believe it was 2 years ago in Jersey when it was raining so badly.
Oh.
We had to have the river.
This is when you came on the radio and declared yourself to be the next Senna.
It was about a half hour after that.
Yeah, okay, got it. Yeah.
No. It wasn't when I slid into the grass. That's when I said I was Senna.
Okay.
I was doing amazingly. I was knocking all the suckers out. I was Senna. I was channeling Senna, and I got a black flag. And Chris said, "Hey, don't do it again." And I said, "Don't worry, I won't. I definitely won't." So I went back out, and on a yellow flag, I got it was a long yellow, a lengthy yellow. We were all in a line driving along in a yellow. And a stupid little car, I believe it was a Miata, passed me, on the Devil's Tail in Jersey. And I looked at him right in the face. And I was staring him down hey, jerk off, we've been yellow for half an hour. Why are you passing me? And as I was staring at him, I ran into him. I literally, I turned my head. And when I turned my head, my eyes and hands followed.
The intensity of the dad stare.
I was
he's not going to try to pass you again.
Exactly. You just hit him. What are you doing? And we just kind of brushed door handles, and I went, "Oh crap!" And then they black flagged me, and then I got pulled out of the seat, and I was done. So
that's what happens when you make contact at a yellow.
But this is exactly what happens. Target fixation.
Totally.
If you stare at something long enough, you are going to drive to it. Now, this is good if you are target fixating on the right spot a turn and a half away, and it is your brake marker, and you're going to look at it for just a second. You're going to go towards it. But if you stare at the same thing too long, that's all you're going to see. Go ahead. Who's next to say?
Last quick story on target fixation. Remember when the Swedish Mafia hit the rock up on the hill in New
Hampshire?
And all of us said, "What rock? What are you talking about?"
Yes.
There's no rock.
Were they looking at the rock?
What rock?
No.
What are you talking about?
There's a rock there?
And sure enough, there's this enormous boulder, the size of the Suburban, up on this hill. And none of us had ever seen it because it was off the track. But as soon as he went off the track, he all of a sudden said, "Holy crap, there's a boulder here."
Giant boulder.
And he stared at the boulder, and wouldn't you know it, he hit the boulder. And it's a good thing he did, because if he didn't, he would have gone off like the cliff that's just beyond that and into the fence.
Rolled,
right?
rolled,
So
and rolled.
It was great that he hit the boulder, but really all of us to a person said, "What rock?"
Is that why they hit it?
But he absolutely said that.
He
He said he got pushed off the track, and all of a sudden he had no traction, and he looked to the direction he never looks at and went, "Holy cow, there's a boulder."
Oh, I had no idea.
And then he stared at the boulder right up until he hit it. So, because where'd that boulder come from?
Yeah.
Target fixation, laser focus. Even if you're not a highly paid internet, I don't know. Go on. I was going to make a home slice
entrepreneur started over 50 companies.
Yeah, that's it. Chrissy, do you want to talk about your dot?
I can talk about the dot. Yeah. So I found a picture that is an optical illusion that is that we did during our HPD class, and we basically, it's a dot in the middle and there's a gray circle, and everybody should focus on it, and you focus on the red dot and the circle should go away. Hopefully you've seen this one. I admittedly could not get rid of the dot or get rid of the circle during class, and I blamed it on that I wasn't straight on and that I was off to the side, but fortunately today I made it happen. So yes, optical illusions that mess with your head that are part of using your peripheral vision. We also did a test where on the screen, so this was a really big room that had a really high ceiling, and on the pop-up screen, the projector screen, they had a big X, and basically we stare at the X and we really tested to see, they did a laser pointer way up in the top corner and basically said, can you, keep looking at the X in the center of the room. Can you see what's going on up there? And, where's the light? And to try to test, peripheral vision. So it was a good test, and good to think about, how far your vision really can go using peripheral.
And absolutely what Mental said earlier is he put it up in the corner and only some people saw it, and then he wiggled it and a lot more people saw it. So they were like, some people could see the static red, but a lot of people could see the moving red.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. What's next? You want me to talk about my optical illusion?
I'm so glad you found this.
Yeah, okay, so everyone may not have seen this. There is a link in the show notes. Go ahead and touch it, everybody. And it is going to take you to an optical illusion. It is a little GIF, and it's a hallway. Does everyone have it?
Mm-hmm.
You can see the hallway coming at you?
Yep.
Yes.
Now, take your hands.
Like a big hotel.
It's like a big hotel, and the hallway just kind of keeps coming at you. Now, take your hands and cover both sides so you only see way down the hallway. Mental's working on it. It's slowed down. Remove your hands and watch it. It feels like it accelerates.
And yep.
So so now do the same thing but backwards. Cover the middle. Whoa! It's like
that is really cool.
I was trying to find the ones that had the actual lines in it.
That's cool.
I didn't realize they
that
just
one
put the
didn't
lines in it.
Yeah,
I couldn't find it.
So basically, it's a repeating video. It's about 1.5 seconds long. It's a hallway. It moves towards you. If you cover the sides, it goes really slow. Your brain processes it as a really slow movement. If you cover the center, you only see the sides of the hallway, and your brain processes it as much, much faster. And they equated this to what happens in the car. If you are balancing your vision so that you are seeing everything, you're seeing in the periphery, you're seeing down the track, you see things that are real. If you look straight at your front bumper and only 10 feet off your front bumper, everything is moving so fast that you're not going to be able to really tell what's going on. And they said if you stare at one thing way too far, way too long, that's the target fixation. And that's why people, when they have a car accident, they say, it was like time slowed down. No, jerk off. You just stared right at that guy's bumper and you drove right into it. So this is your mind is being messed with because you're only seeing some of the information. So link will be in the show notes. If you're not driving, click the link.
Play with the.
Please don't do this while you're driving, or Chrissy will be upset.
I will.
Check out the optical illusion. Cover the sides. It goes real slow. Cover the center. It's like, whoa, hyperspeed.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Chris.
All right.
What else do we got? Anybody?
I guess the last thing is practice these on the road in your daily driver. You don't even need to race cars. You can still have better vision that's going to help you be a safer driver on the road, really. And really, if you practice it on the road, that's how you know it's going to work on the street. If you only practice it on the track, that's like playing the piano 3 times a year. Are you going to be good at playing the piano? You are not. Practice it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was on the road with the wife, and I panic braked, and she said, "Oh my God, what's happening?" And I said, "That guy's wheels moved," and I pointed to a car in the right that was going to enter my lane. You know, they were at a stop sign at a T intersection, and she said, "You saw the wheels move?" I said, "Yeah." That's what you got to look at sometimes. You got to just see those kinds of things out of your peripheral vision.
Or people that are going to left turn that they put their hand up from the bottom to their steering wheel.
Yeah.
Completely unnecessary to do, and anyone that does this is doing a terrible thing. There's no reason to reach your hand up from the bottom to the middle to grab your wheel. You don't have a manual steering 1968 Polara. You have a CRV. It'll turn with your hands on the top where they're supposed to be. But it's a
I had a
great
guy do that
indication.
to me at Extreme at Pittsburgh, and I'm like, "What the heck are you doing?" And I feel really bad because it just caught me so off guard. Yeah, he brought his left hand straight up to the center of the wheel and was about to
Jank it down. All right, so let's review. Look down the track. Don't laser focus. Use your peripheral vision. Make your eye movements count. Move from part to part to part. Be looking for motion and color out of your peripheral vision. And what else? Did I miss anything? Your mind will mess with you.
Chris,
Awesome.
Chris, I think you've got a good wrap up to this, though, don't you?
Didn't
You
I
just
just
did.
give my
I
wrap
did.
up?
Okay, never.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you did. All right. Sorry.
And then we
Sorry.
did other things, so I had to rewrap.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, sweeter, but no. It is rant from Jeff time.
So there's nothing hella sweet about
There's
this.
nothing else sweet about
okay.
this. It's just a rant from Jeff.
Let's hear it.
Okay, everybody out there, I know you're all excited because Popeyes has a new chicken sandwich, and you've broke it for the rest of us. I love Popeyes, and I used to be the only guy in line, and now there's 87 millennials with beards complaining that there's no more chicken sandwiches. Go back to your white people food. Leave me and my homies at Popeyes where the good food is. Go away.
Why is it so good? What makes it good?
Okay, so here's something I saw. It said Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is made by your loving aunt who is white, who cares about cholesterol and your health.
Okay.
Popeye's chicken is made by your Aunt Bertha, who is a black lady from the South.
Uh-huh.
And she believes in God, and God will take care of your health. So she fries it in
What's our favorite chicken cook? What's her name?
Annie
Fee.
B.
Annie Fee chicken.
Annie Fee chicken.
All right.
And she'll just pause. She'll just pause and go, it's so goddamn good.
Falls off the mother bone. It's so good. Anyway.
She's not wrong.
She's not wrong. The chicken is awesome. Anyway, next show promo, because we really don't have a hell sweeter but terrible, so I just had to say get out my Popeyes line. Listen, we've done a lot of heavy, deep stuff, so we're going to talk about fun stuff next week. Motorsports in the media. We're going to talk about hyperdrive, Jessie Combs. We might talk about her career a little bit. Mental saw Racing in the Rain. We're going to talk about why this Lemons thing has not become the greatest TV show on the planet, even though we all know it is the greatest sport on the planet. I don't know. What else? That's it, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
So if you've got input, if you got stuff you want to talk to us, tell us about.
Thank you.
Subjects you'd like us to cover. We're also going to have a lot of rally results. Santiago got us a bunch of rally results. There's a rally coming up in September, a mere 3 hours from you guys.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, we could go like watch or something.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, not to drive. You'll tear up the Civic.
No,
don't want to do that.
Take the Civic.
Yeah, with all 2 inches of ground clearance that it has. Yeah.
You think Jeff bet the splitter before. Wait till he rallies it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this visual week of Everyone Racers. We hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It is totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hate us, go give us 5 stars. Tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas or something cool you saw on a TV show about cars, drop us a line on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers. Thanks again, and until next week, keep your eyes up. Unless you don't have eyes, then just keep your wheels down.